God damn it. That took longer than expected. Still, thanks to that bloody time loop, I should be back for about 12. Yeah, close enough. So, let's put this into the other room. Here we go. Stick that in there. Though I don't know when the hell I'll ever need that. Oh boy. Still, thanks to that time loop, I should be back just in time for the next episode. Let's see here. The date is... That can't be right. That makes me a bloody week late. Oops. Oh boy, this is bad. Oh God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I know. We'll cover 4 games. That's right, 4. So you know what, folks? You know what it's time to do? It's time to roll the opening credits. Hello folks, and welcome to episode 4 of the Gentleman Gamer. And unfortunately, right off the bat, I must apologise. I must apologise for my lateness. This episode is currently a week out of production, but that's only because that idiot on the control panel screwed up the time coordinates. But you don't need to worry about that. No. Anyway, to make up for my lack of an episode last week, I'm going to do 4 games this week. That's right. I'll be covering 2 consoles, which is going to be the Wii and the Xbox 360, and the 4 games I'll be covering: Pokemon Battle Revolution, Tatsunoko Vs Capcom, Marvel vs Capcom 3, and Super Street Fighter 4. So, let's get on with the first game. One of the finest fighting games I think I've played, not only on the Wii but in a number of years. Tatsunoko vs Capcom.
And here we go, my first ever Tatsunoko vs Capcom voiceover. My first team is my Batsu and Frank West, 2 physical, or mostly physical fighters, against Ken the Eagle and Ryu, the 2 main characters of the game, I suppose you could call it. They're the most famous from each of the Capcom and Tatsunoko sides. We're fighting in a Tatsunoko stage now, Yataman's Workshop. If you've ever seen Yataman, it's actually a very good program. I would highly recommend it. Anyway, here we go. Start the fight. Ready, go! Or fight, as it said. I miss out on a couple of elbow presses, but I do manage to get the first attack. How? With Frank West's assist, it doesn't do any damage, as you saw. However, it does stun the opponent. Anyway, I tried for a Super Guts Cannon, but that's kind of like Batsu's version of the Hadouken, the Guts Cannon, or his super combination, the Super Guts Cannon. Anyway, Ken the Eagle sticking to the air because of his double jump, etc. In comes Ryu with the assist, Hadouken, I go with the side kick, and Ken gets me as a counter hyper combination on my elbow press. It does quite a significant amount of damage. However, in comes Frank West. Tatsunoko is where he made his first claim to the fighting game genre. However, he will be in Ultimate Marvel vs Capcom 3, and that's exactly where I'm a fire in my laser! Yeah, sorry about that. As you can probably guess, this is going to be another running gag. Anyway, so as I was saying, yeah, so Frank West may have started in Tatsunoko, but I'm definitely getting Ultimate Marvel vs Capcom 3 upon release, and I will be doing a bit about it. So, Hadouken, avoiding attack, and here comes another one.
I'm a firing my laser!
It may not seem it now with Marvel vs Capcom 3 and characters like the Hulk and Sentinel having projectiles, but back in the days of like Marvel 2, like Tatsunoko was based on, heavy characters such as Frank West having like projectile supers and that kind of thing was kind of unheard of. So yeah, all credit to him. Talking of which, many consider Tatsunoko vs Capcom the true successor to Marvel vs Capcom 2. I actually had it for the Dreamcast and it was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I need to get it for the Xbox Live Arcade, I do, so I can do online again, but never mind. Anyway, at times you may see characters flash like a rainbow with the word Baroque coming up on the screen. What that happens as all 4 attack buttons, which is your partner, light, heavy, medium, and partner button, all hit at once, where your character's red health, which is gradually getting back health, they lose that ability, yet they can actually continue combinations and that kind of thing. So whereas an attack would normally stop a combination, there you go, as you saw just there, normally that down kick would have like just finished at 2 hits, but thanks to Baroque, it continued. Anyway, I got another fire in my laser. Yeah, I'm not the best at Tatsunoko. Not that that's apparent. Anyway, here comes another one. I charge it up and
I'm a firing my laser!
Yep, there it is, another fire in my laser. 20 hits, that's not bad actually. Anyway, as you saw there, after Ryu used his Shinku Hadouken or whatever it's called, I just like to call it Shinku Hadouken or Super Hadouken or whatever it's called. He actually took a second or two to recover from it. That was actually a common feature in Marvel 2, and it's not so much a common feature in Marvel 3. I mean, some characters do have to recover, like Hagar's level 3, Dante's level 1, that kind of thing. However, it's not as apparent. So I took advantage of that and managed to counter the Hadouken with Real Mega Buster, which is the actual name for the I'm firing my laser, as I've decided to call it. Anyway, time's up and I lose, which isn't bad actually. At least I can say I didn't like get completely devastated, because I did manage to bring down this Ultra Aces characters down a bit. So yeah, they may get a promotion, but I am awesome, or at least I think I am. Most of you may disagree. Leave your comments below. Anyway, on to the next Tatsunoko match. I have secured a rematch with this person, I do believe, and it's back to Yataman's workshop, or at least I think it is. Yep, it is. It's back to Yataman's workshop. Now then, I can't seem to make up my mind here. Random. Here we go. I go with Frank West and another one of the heavy hitting close combat specialists, Alex from Street Fighter 3. If you've ever played Third Strike, it is a very good game, and Alex is one of the better characters in my opinion, along with Hugo. If you've not played Third Strike, at least get the demo. The demo itself is actually pretty good. You only get a choice of 2 characters, and even then it's not Ken or Ryu, but I do apologise for that, but no, please give it a go. At least you get Dudley. Dudley's the main one for me. I do like Dudley. Dudley's awesome. Anyway, battle begins. This guy got the first attack by biding his time. No, you're not making this up. You did just see a zombie go by in a shopping cart.
I'm a firing my laser!
But anyway, back to the fight. So I don't manage to catch Ken the Eagle with my laser, but I do manage to catch him with a launcher. Only thing is, I haven't quite mastered this game yet, like I have done. Well, I wouldn't say I mastered Marvel 3, but I haven't gotten to grips with this game as much as I should have done, to be quite fair. So yeah, I know how to pull off basic combinations, etc. But nah, I'm nowhere near as good as this as I am with Marvel. So whenever I get anyone into a launcher, I need to press the up button to follow.
I'm a fire in my labor!
I managed to catch both Ryu and Ken with my laser that time, doing 40 hits and quite a bit of damage on each of them. Anyway, in comes Ryu and in comes Alex, both Street Fighters coming together. Guard against the Hadouken. Cool for me. Another example of the...
I'm a fire in my labor!
And yes, before you ask, that laser is one of my favourite super combinations. I don't know whether or not to call them hypers, supers, or ultras. Anyway, regardless, he catches me with his Hadouken, no doubt revenge for the whole laser thing a few times. I'm actually winning, surprisingly, against a champ. Maybe I should enter a tournament. Although, to be quite fair, I am looking to enter a couple of tournaments as the Gentleman Gamer. Oh, I try and go for my level 3 atomic suplex, and unfortunately I screw up the timing of the thing. Anyway, I just ring hand Ryu, and by ring hand I do genuinely mean I bitch slap him. Oh crud. Well yeah, I think that's what the kids call it these days. Damn kids. Anyway, so yeah, I quite literally give him a slap round the face. Ken the Eagle trying a lot of fancy aerial tactics. Baroque into super. Ooh, doesn't quite get it. Anyway, I get him with a baseball bat. Missed the launcher, missed the golf club. Another Baroque. This guy does like his Baroque combinations anyway.
I'm a fire in my labor!
Ken the Eagle managed to guard against that, meaning he only took chip damage, meaning he's on a very small amount of health. He provokes into another combination and gets me with an aerial kick dive. Nice. But I managed to get him with a dive of my own, and it results in a knockout. Yes, I have won against a champion. I'm quite happy about that, to be quite honest, and I get promoted. Promotion! Or as Dr. Robotnik would say, promotion! If you don't know what I mean, look it up. But it is funny as hell. Anyway, for this next fight, I think it's best 2 out of 3. I'll go again with my original team of Batsu and Frank West. I'm just waiting for my opponent to... Oh, it's Ryu and Karas. Karas actually has the worst health in the game, coming in at just over 37,000. Is it 1,000 or billion? Anyway, I don't know what they do it in these days, but yeah, Karas has got the worst health in the game. Again, we're back at Yadaman's workshop. I like this stage, it's nice and bright and colourful. Oh no, sorry, it's a different person altogether, I do apologise. So, yeah, this isn't a rematch. It's a new guy. Anyway, I managed to catch him with a drop kick. Guts cannon. Into Hadouken. Into Hadouken again. I need to stop doing that. Tornado kick, as I like to call that out. Ooh, the Mega Crash. I'm not too sure how to perform a Mega Crash, but basically you take a bit of damage and... Oh yeah, I remember now. It takes up 1 bar of hyper combination meter. It causes your character a little bit of damage, but what it does do is like push your opponent away, so you can either extend combos or like just get them away from you so you don't take so much damage. It's turned into a kick fest. In comes Frank West. Ooh, and in comes Karas. Frank West actually has the 4th best health in the game, tied in with Light Beautiful Joe and Mega Man Volnut, I think.
I'm a fire in my labor!
Yeah, I managed to catch both Ryu and Karas with that, but Karas not so much, as he manages to ninja his way through. Anyway, another Mega Crash. As you saw there, it sent Frank West like away from Karas.
I'm a fire in my labor!
So yeah, Mega Crash can be helpful, but only in certain situations. Oh yeah, did I mention Karas was a bloody ninja? and I'm not even kidding. He has his own class because he doesn't fit into any kind of existing archetype. Anyway, into the Baroque. He lost a lot of the red health that he had actually due to that Baroque, so that could have paid off in his favour. But there's another Mega Crash, meaning even if Karas now takes chip damage, it's all over. But Karas is fast and can do lots of attacks at once, so he's a bit like the Zero of this game, despite the fact Zero is already in this game. But I managed to take him out, and I hyper combination counter the Shinku Hadouken with my Super Guts Cannon. And now for a new one.
I am a man!
Batsu has 2 attacks I will be using that little sound clip on. His level 3 called United by Fate, which has got a variety of effects depending on who the partner is. That's actually a very cool move. I don't know if we get to see it in this video, but if we do, I am going to make sure you know about it. And secondly was that devastating uppercut, as I like to call it, or possibly volcanic uppercut. Either way, I go with a new character this time, Mega Man Volnut from Mega Man Legends, and Batsu. Batsu is from a Capcom game called Rival Schools, or something like that. Schools of Rivals? Anyway. And my opponent is using a Chun-Li and a Batsu team. So, two fighters, limited projectiles, yes, but mostly focusing upon physical, getting in there, beating the hell out of your opponent. Mega Man obviously has his Mega Buster. He has 3 interchangeable weapons. He has his arm, which he does a punch with. He has a machine gun, which he obviously shoots, and he has a shield, which if you hit it with the opponent, the shield's got a very small hitbox. You hit the opponent with it, then they go flying back into the wall. Wall bouncers, that's very commonly known in the fighting game genre. Anyway, I managed to Batsu assist, I managed to blue Batsu assist the white Batsu into anything. He manages to catch me with an aerial guts cannon, much like Dr. Doom's photon array in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The projection light changes upon where you use it. So if it's in the air, it's diagonal down. Use it on the ground, it's horizontal. Although Photon Array does kind of cover the entire area around Dr. Doom in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so it's similar but not quite the same. Anyway, Chun-Li tries for her spiritual barrier hyper combination. I don't know what it's called, and even if I did, I probably couldn't pronounce it. I'm kind of being a jerk here. I need to stop spamming attacks. Anyway, he manages to Baroque into another combination. Nice. Few Mega Busters. Launcher. I still fail to continuing the Mega Buster assault. I try and get Batsu in. Unfortunately, he comes a cropper with the spinning bird kick. How the hell that actually defies gravity, I'll have no idea. Anyway, he's just got me pinned down in the corner now. Another volcanic, but unfortunately it doesn't quite hit as well as I wanted it to because she guards against it. I try and go for a drill, unfortunately it doesn't quite happen. Machine guns. Yeah, as you probably could guess from a machine gun attack, it's multi-hitting, but none of the bullets really do much damage. Anyway, I'll bring in Batsu again. Remember, I'm the blue one. I managed to catch Chun-Li properly now with the Super Guts Cannon, which was nice. Oh, I almost managed to finish her off that time. And then I managed to chip her out using the Super Guts Cannon, which is cool. I managed to catch the white Batsu on the way in with Mega Man Volnut uppercut assist. He tries and goes for a volcanic uppercut. That misses. He goes for a Baroque combo. In fact, he goes for quite a few Baroque combinations.
I am a man!
Yeah, so now the enemy Bartso is now down to about 45% health, if I had to take a guess, if not 35%, and I am currently doing my best. However, he gets me into a stun, uses the Super Guts cannon. It's not looking good for me right now as I try and swap in my Bartso. He goes Baroque, and yeah, he basically Baroque my butt. Yeah, alright, so bad joke. Into one last desperate machine gun rush. Unfortunately, doesn't quite get it. I do manage to do a bit of chip damage, but with 5 seconds to go, unless I landed that machine gun, I doubted I would have won. I come in close just to try it, and I try one last machine gun, doesn't hit, time over, Mega Man Volnut loses. Not a bad thing though, I mean, losing only makes you stronger. Anyway, on to the next match. I used Duranjo, who is the main bad guy and leader of the Duranjo gang in Yataman, and Frank West, while my opponent is using Jun the Swan and Chun Li. Is his name Ant-Man? That was my old name. I honestly couldn't have made this crap up if I tried, to be quite honest. Honestly, somebody's using my old name to fight me. This is surreal. Anyway. Let's see how we get on. Jun the Swan is wasting absolutely no time whatsoever, tries to go for a super. Duranjo causes Boyaki, that's Boyaki, her skinny underling, to do a few punches. Unfortunately, Jun the Swan now catches me with exploding yo-yos.
I'm a fire in my ladle!
So yeah, as I was saying, Duranjo isn't a bad character, she's just unusual in her moveset, using her underlings, and just not having a generic moveset that could be categorized into like existing archetypes, such as like Alex with his heavy-hitting wrestler style moves, or even Mega Man's projectile-based game. I think it's projectile-based. As you saw there, I tried to go for a super, but nothing happened because Boyaki, the skinny dude, got hit. If he gets hit before he can activate the machine, then the super doesn't work. Normally, what happens is this giant satellite falls from the sky that covers the entirety of the screen, and it practically demolishes anything and anyone in its way. Again, I get it with the launcher, and I can't seem to just get those aerial combinations. That's kind of what's losing me my matches here. Anyway, as you can see there, Frank West has been tagged with a yo-yo. Another trying my laser. However, Jun the Swan is quite the aerial character, so she manages to use her attacks plus her super to keep out of the way of it, which was very clever. Very clever indeed. Anyway, I managed to golf club her to death. I wouldn't say death, knockout. That golf club can actually be used as an OTG move, which means on the ground, which means you can pick them up for another combination afterwards, which is quite nice. Another skinny punching bag. I'm just biding my time at this point because there's only one way I want to finish this match, and here it is, the most ridiculous level 3 you'll ever see. No, ladies and gentlemen, you did not just take hallucinogenic drugs. You just saw Duranjo and her two villains escape on a 3-wheel tandem bike while Chun-Li was being exploded in the background. That's actually a nod to the Yataman TV series as a whole. Or cartoon. Should I say cartoon? Yeah, that's actually a nod to the Yataman cartoon as a whole, to be quite honest, because at the end of every episode that I've seen, the Duranjo gang get contacted by their boss, and whether or not they succeed or fail in their mission to acquire the pieces of the Skull Rock so they can make all their wishes for greed and wealth come true, they practically get punished. Yeah, they explode, fall from the sky, get crushed, have to run away, lose the wheels, whatever. Basically, they get their butts handed to them no matter what, either by Yataman and his mechas, Yatawan, the giant dog, or I have no idea what the pelican is. But yeah, so either way, the poor Durango gang get owned every week by a variety of people. I mean, the funniest episode I saw was a satire of Steven Spielberg. When Boyaki and Yataman 2, the female Yataman member, ooh, nice pile driver there, Alex. So yeah, Boyaki and Yataman 2 were supposed to be doing a romantic movie together. Yeah, that went down a treat. Well, if you ever get the chance, check that out. I think it was like episode 2 or 3. It's a if I have to describe Yataman, I would have to say it's a little campy like Power Rangers, but it's actually pretty good, and the animation's nice too. Anyway, back to the fight. A variety of moves later, I'm on the losing side with 70 seconds to go. I try another super, and in fact I go into delayed hyper combo, but unfortunately, Frank West's grab is awful. I'm not even kidding, it barely has any reach at all, if any. You'd have to be 0.0.
I'm a firing my laser!
So yeah, after catching Beautiful Joe against my laser, I called in Alex again, although it's not looking good as he calls in the 6th cannon, a very heavy hitting projectile. In comes Joe the Condor. You know, the best way of playing Joe the Condor is with bird missiles! Yeah, in case you don't know what I'm on about, look up How to Play TVC Like a Man. That is actually a pretty good series that I found very, very enjoyable. And quite funny too. Still, bird missiles! Anyway. So yeah, Alex, I don't know why, but I can't ever seem to fight Beautiful Joe on Tatsunoko. On Marvel I'm fine with it, probably because I'm using the awesomeness of Mike Hagar's mustache. But aside from that, I just can't seem to fight him on Tatsunoko. It could be a small size. But then again, that's something I've always had a problem with, if I'm completely honest. Why on earth did Capcom decide to change the size of... Well, Beautiful Joe was always quite a small character, so him I wasn't too fussed with. But Arthur, Sir Arthur from Ghouls and Goblins, or Ghosts and Goblins, or Ghosts and Ghouls, or whatever it was called in your particular area. They changed him from being a normal sized, if not slightly taller than average dude, who was quite muscled, into a skinny, pathetic wannabe of a knight. I mean, yes, he's still awesome. I mean, I absolutely love his rushdown projectile game on Marvel vs Capcom 3. However, what I dislike... Ouch, that did some damage. Anyway, what I dislike is the fact they actually reduced him both in body size and mass. It just wasn't right. I mean, you look at Namco Cross Capcom, and he's... I wouldn't say he's as buff as Mike Hagar, but, you know, right, okay, here's that blasted rematch I was on about the other time. I need to have words with my editor. So anyway, you catch it right at the beginning of the match, if I'm completely honest, and then I counter.
I'm a firing my laser!
So yeah, I managed to catch Chun-Li with the real Mega Buster. And yes, you're not dreaming, that skinny girl Saki, not the alcoholic drink mind you, does have a gigantic gun.
I'm a firing my laser!
Another counter hyper combination into the laser. Man, she just swings that thing around like no tomorrow. It's like Dedede and his mallet. Didn't quite avoid that one. However, I do manage to take out Chun-Li with that Super Guts cannon, and I did a bit of damage to Saki too, which was cool. Just gotta watch out for Saki. When she charges up that gun, it can do a lot of damage, along with those hand grenades. Yeah, I don't know what I was
I'm a firing my laser!
So I managed to catch Saki there with my own gun attack. In comes Batsu once again, Guts cannon into Saki's level 1. Gets cannoned again, destroys the hand grenade. She loads a gun with special ammunition. Grenade. Fires the gun regularly again. She tries for a hand grenade, but I managed to come in with Frank West. She manages to hand grenade me and do that. I managed to send in the shopping and OTG, or I think with the back swipe of the golf club. Yes. So I win, thankfully and luckily. Anyway, on to the last match of Tatsunoko Vs Capcom. I'm going with good old favourite Frank West and Alex, while my opponent has chosen the giant character, PTX40E. I do apologise. Now this guy is a star, and that means he's better than most people I face. In fact, he's better than everybody I've faced. So this is a true test. There's that giant thing. Whoa, you gotta be kidding! At least that's what Frank says. And yeah, I think I'd have a few more stronger words than that if I had to face that thing. But this guy is a true master of just using this thing. He doesn't give me an inch to work with. He just uses PTX's huge power and stance and just raw ability to deal damage to the absolute fullest effect. Frank West goes out in a matter of 9 seconds. 9! And then in comes Alex. At least PTX doesn't exactly get a perfect this time round, although let's face it, I'm barely doing anything as it is. And now he goes for his level 3, which connects, and it is impressive. It's like one of the Megazords from Power Rangers. How the hell Alex would have survived that, I have no idea. So I try for one of my own attacks, and he just chainsaws me. And that's the end of that match. Good round, all of.
Whenever you see me make that kind of a face, most of you are expecting for me to lose my temper. And true, I may be feeling a little hot under the collar right now. I am not going to lose my temper. No. That's why I always bring a mug of tea this time. Delicious. No longer will I be subject to losing my temper like that. Anyway, let's go on to the second of today's games. One, as you all know, I play a lot and I absolutely adore. Marvel vs Capcom 3. Oh, but please be assured I'm getting as much playtime as I can out of Marvel 3 until Ultimate comes along.
My first match today on Marvel vs Capcom is against a Dormammu, Hagar and Deadpool team. This team has got some very powerful zoning techniques used via the use of Deadpool and Dormammu, and then it's just Dormammu's pure power and Hagar's pure power that could also prove to be a problem, especially that double area assist. Apparently that's getting slightly nerfed in the next game. Like less recovery frames, I don't know. So yeah, that might be changing slightly in the next game, but that Dormammu tried a bit of teleportation techniques. I managed to catch him with the Hyper Sentinel drones. Rocket Punch, Dr. Doom's hidden missiles. Not that I would want to see them. Ha 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 ha. Okay, yeah, I know, that's a bit in poor taste. But the drones managed to finish off Dormammu, and in comes Mike Hagar, who I managed to catch with the down medium. Into the drones again. I'm quite fond of Sentinel and his drones. I'm just shocked they had to nerf him from so much, from 1.3 million originally up to down to, I should say, bloody 910,000, but it's being nerfed again just to regular old 900,000 in the next game. But anyway, I screwed up that combination very badly and have to use up 3 meters to DHC to Dr. Doom. Deadpool catches me with the guns, goes X Factor. Now this is where it gets interesting. Maybe not, because I've just caught him with Plasma Storm, and that's it. It's game over. 3-0. That was quite well played, though. He used good tactics, I'll admit. It's just that I managed to predict them and counter them precisely. Well, not precisely, because I screwed up the hyper combinations, but never mind. Okay, into my next team, which is again Hagar, Doom, and Sentinel. I'm facing the Sixth Lord with a 3-game win streak already, with his team of Ryu, Spencer, and Albert Wesker. Yeah, not looking forward to this, because Wesker is a bit broken in this game, I'll admit, especially when put in the hands of the correct people. Anyway, Violent Axe out of there. Shinku Hadouken, he gets caught by a single missile. Into the pipe, into a launcher. I tried to command grab and screwed it. I bring in Sentinel, who launches Ryu. In comes Nathan Spencer, aka the Bionic Commando, with the Bionic Arm! I don't know, did we get to see that one in this match? I do hope not. I do hate that super so much. Crossover counter. That was some pretty good play there from my opponent. However, unfortunately, it does mean the end of his Ryu, however you pronounce it. It's the end of him. Into Hagar's lariat assist. I tried to Doom time, but I goof up the time for it. So Doom's time turned out to be no time. There it is, the Bionic Arm. Not that I'm a big fan of it, because I hate Spencer. I hate the fact he's so broken. Anyway, he breaks my team aerial combo. His arm doesn't reach that far. I catch him with the drones as he rolls forward. Air throw into the lariat and into the launcher, and there he goes. Now here's where it gets interesting. Albert Wesker on level 3 X Factor can become a god. He actually achieves his dream of becoming overlord of anything and everything he wishes, because this is ridiculous. But he hasn't activated X Factor yet, and I'm still doing badly. Holy hell, he took Hagar off his feet. Yep, there it is. I tried to molecular shield my way out of there, activates X Factor and just takes him out. Goodbye Sentinel as well. Here's where it gets bad. Activate X Factor with Hagar. Violent Axe my way out of that situation. I managed to catch him on the double lariat. Violent Axe again. He gets the timing correct this time as Maximum Wesker hits. Double lariat once again. Another Violent Axe. Into the pipe. Into double lariat. I should have launched at that point. Oh, I think it's all over at this point because, well, you know, it's Albert Wesker. I managed to catch him with double lariat and end the match, only just with 16 seconds on the clock. He played very, very well. As much as I hate Spencer and his, style of gameplay, I will admit he did play well. Anyway, on to the next match. I think it's at this point I try a different team. No, it's Hagar, Doom, and Sentinel. But recently I have been trying to pick up Albert Wesker, and actually he's a little bit less intimidating in terms of gameplay style than I actually thought he would be. He's by absolutely no means either perfect or, completely invincible. But, yeah, I like his power, I like his moveset, and, yeah, I'm still going to be training with him after this video. But anyway, I'm now up against Dante, Wolverine, and Sentinel. A bit of a basic team, if I'm completely honest, but it's whatever people want to go with, I suppose. Hopefully nobody finds Hagar, Doom, and Sentinel a cheating team, because, one, that's never my intent, and two, I think that team does have a couple of flaws, such as limited special moves, projectiles, etc. I managed to avoid his sword and try to get him with the drones, but he activates X Factor. I managed to catch him with the drones that time. Down medium, into the launcher. Just gotta... I screwed up the inputs there. I should have... I wanted to do like a aerial super. Nope, again, I mistimed that. Wolverine caught me. In comes Sentinel with the drones. Oh, there's Wolverine's level 3. He just powers straight through the drones and kaboom. He gets Sentinel. True, it doesn't take him out and only puts him to like 50% health, but besides the point. I managed to catch him off the lariat there with the hyper combination. I use hard drive to get out of there. This is actually quite the close match. Advanced guarding my super, meaning he doesn't take that much damage. And there it is. I managed to double lariat, and I think there was a bit of an unblockable because Hagar was on one side, Dante on the other, Sentinel the other side of him. I don't know. Pretty cool. Anyway, in comes his Sentinel now. I like using Sentinel, I just hate having to fight against him. Yes, he has a big hitbox. Yes, he doesn't have as much health as he used to, but he can still pile on the power. Anyway, catch him with the drones. And I catch him with another set of drones. Yes. Let's hear it for the kamikazes. And I finish it off with a rocket punch OTG. That's one way of finishing it, I suppose. Termination program engaged. Search and destroy. Search and destroy! Wondering if it sounded like Sentinel was constipated, then I don't know. Anyway, I'll go with Hagar, Doom, and Sentinel again. As I say, I'm gonna get some gameplay footage of me using Wesker, because I'm nowhere near Maximilian's level when it comes to using Wesker, but I try my best. Anyway, this guy is using something I like to call Team Overdrive. Basically, Hulk, Hagar, and Sentinel, the three most powerful characters in the game, coming together to try and kick some ass. However, I managed to get in the first move with Hagar's double area assist. The interesting thing is we're using two of the same characters each, so this really does just come down to individual play style. I must admit though, if played properly, Hulk is one of my worst matchups. And Hulk goes down due to drones and hidden missiles. In comes Hagar. Catch him with the launcher into team aerial combination with the laser gun. Hardly anybody uses the laser gun, which is quite sad really, but then again it doesn't have much use. I catch him with the finger lasers, as Doom and Maximilian would like to call it. Finger lasers once again. Off the double area assist. Molecular shield into the foot dive. I need to learn to do heavy foot dive, special foot dive, and then into plasma beam. That kind of combination will actually get me like easy KOs and that kind of thing. Anyway, another set of drones into the violent axe, into launcher.
I am a man!
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the way you finish a match. I am a man, punch him in the goddamn stomach. That is reminiscent of the actual review, which I get a I Am a Man from Linkara atop the fourth wall, is reminiscent of. Just Superman punches an android, rips out his guts, and he dies. That was so reminiscent to that. Marvel vs. Capcom. Fantastic. It's the only place you'll ever punch a robot and not break your fist. Anyway, next matchup. Deadpool, Dante, and Ryu, I don't care. Well, I do care. Well, not about the name pronunciation, just about how much he can play this thing. And here we go. He gets out of there quickly using quick work, but screws up the cut and time. Super. I bring in Sentinel because I think Sentinel is actually pretty good against Deadpool. I could be wrong. I mean, if I'm wrong, then please feel free to leave me a comment on what you think. Anyway, there's that teleporter. I'll tell you a funny story about that teleporter. I love that command grab. I'll tell you a funny story about that teleporter. If any of you have ever seen Evo's most epic fail, I think that's what the video's called online. One of the professionals who uses Deadpool uses his teleporter, but even in the comic books and even in this game, which they did very well, was Deadpool's teleporter sometimes malfunctions. When it does in Marvel, it actually does a bit of damage depending on which kind of teleport you were trying to use upon Deadpool himself. He actually blows himself up and commits suicide to give his opponent the match. If you know who was playing, then please let me know, but that is just funny as hell, and everybody was actually quite good about it. They didn't jeer him or anything. They gave him a round of applause and actually decided to call that one of the best moments of Evo 2011. It was pretty goddamn awesome. Anyway, so level 3 X Factor Ryu. I just lost Sentinel, or a violent axe into him after he uses his tornado kick. I try and use Doom Time, but I'm way off the mark. I do need to get a bit more practice with Doom, if I'm honest. Anyway, hidden missiles, plasma beam, finger lasers. Yes. I bring in Hagar just as he activates his Shinku Hadouken, which isn't good. But I managed to catch him with the pipe and with the violent axe, and yeah, I win. Let's face it, if anybody pulled off the violent axe in real life, I think you would end up killing somebody. Not due to the ground bounce, because that's, scientifically impossible, but just due to the sheer force that you're bringing down on their back or their neck. It would break it. It would literally snap it like a chicken wing. Anyway, on to my next match. Zero, Hulk and X23. This looks to be a rush down game with some Hulk potential, which is what I call, as soon as you're in there, swap him out and make sure Hulk wails on the guy until he's nothing more than a bloody pulp. And I use bloody in the correct sense there, meaning blood and guts and gore and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Zero screws up the Hikoka, Rikoka, Hokoka, whatever it's called, the pillar, the vertical super. I call in Sentinel. Although, why on earth Zero thinks that Sentinel is a Maverick, I don't know, because you don't get Mavericks that big, do you? I don't know, I've never played X. I've played the original Mega Man, but I've never played X. Anyway, that's one way of finishing off Zero. Just throw him at the floor! Anyway, I catch Hulk with both the drones and the hidden missiles. Air throw, rocket punch, more missiles. A boot to the face, more missiles. Another punch to the face. More drones, although he defends against these ones. In fact, advanced guards against these ones. More drones, more missiles. I think that if the Hulk ever existed, that's exactly how we're going to fight him. Just send in lots of little robots and missiles. Plenty and plenty of missiles. Anyway, Mike Hagar takes out the Hulk. Pipes X23 on entry. Screws up the command grab. Double lariat, hidden missiles. More missiles, violent axe. She dives. Another pipe, another launcher. She defends against the next 3 attacks, but I managed to catch her on her way down to the Talon dive with the double lariat. Roar, Mike Hagar. Roar like the god that you are. Mike Hagar is the manliest character ever. Except for Arthur, because he managed to take down Satan in his underpants. I'd like to see anybody else try and take on Satan in their underpants. although Hagar does pile drive Galactus without a shirt on. Who is more manly? The man who went into hell and destroyed the devil in nothing but his underwear, or the man who doesn't wear a shirt and pile drives intergalactic world eaters? That's your choice, viewer. Put your comments down in the section below. Anyway, the last Marvel vs. Capcom fight today is against a Wolverine, Taskmaster and X-23 team. He breaks my team aerial combination, I catch him on the double lariat. I try for a violent axe, doesn't work. Hidden missiles, he's defending against them well. Another load of hidden missiles as I go in for the violent axe and pipe. I try launcher, I try pipe, I try double lariat again. The double lariat hits. I try for hidden missiles, but Doom gets caught up in the claws. Taskmaster and Wolverine make a kick-ass combo. I try for the I am a man rapid fist hyper, doesn't quite work. Go for plasma storm. Thanks to Hagar's double lariat assist, Wolverine is out. I try and catch X-23 on her way in, but she obviously defends. I catch her with hidden missiles that time. And I catch her with the Hyper Sentinel Force drones. Again with the double lariat. Oh, I tried to go crouching medium into heavy on her way down, but hit stun decay prevented me from doing that, so I had a whiffed launcher. Again with the double lariat. Again in comes the drones. She tries and goes for the rage trigger, but DHC's into Taskmaster's Aim of Hawkeye super. Horizontal shot. Hidden missiles. Doom gets caught up with the web swing. Taskmaster screws up. Now it's he DHC's into X-23. I catch X-23 and she's gone. So I now swap out for Dr. Doom and finger lasers. Aim of Hawkeye, horizontal shot again, super. Activates level 3 X Factor. I try and keep him away from me using the plasma shot and photon array and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't quite go as well as I would have hoped. Because I call in Sentinel right at the wrong time and he's out. Hagar takes the brunt of that. Activates level 2 X Factor. Gets shot down. Finger lasers once again for Dr. Doom, preventing the arrows from reaching him. I'm just continuing to use all the projectiles like plasma beam. I try and go for the finger lasers again. Unfortunately though, his arrows cancelled that out. Plasma beam, plasma beam. Throw more plasma and finger lasers. Yes. It actually comes very close. I managed to launch him, but he manages to throw me down, and I think that last hit was the one that sealed the match. Yep, because time's up, Doom loses. But I must admit, that guy played exceedingly well. I'm not a sore loser, not this time around. I've learned to take it. That was a very well played match, sir. Well done.
I may have lost that last fight, but did you see that? I had a 10-win streak! Whenever I make a new record for myself, it'll be time for the random! No, what will it be called? It will be called the new record dance! Yeah!
Classy.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just felt like I needed to do something special for that fantastic boost in morale. Anyway, next game. Pokemon Battle Revolution. I must admit I've been a Pokemon fan since I was first introduced to it via the Game Boy games, Red and Blue. But let's see how I do in the in the 6th generation, is it? Anyway, Revolution covers Diamond and Pearl backwards. So, yeah. Let's see how I get on.
The first match of Pokemon Battle Revolution then. That team, with the exception of Bronzong, is actually very, very quick and can be, if trained correctly, very, very powerful. My team, on the other hand, is average at best. I'm no doubt going to get trolled for my choice of Pokemon, but I went with my favourites as opposed to ones that are statistically superior. Anyway, the battle begins. I send out my Torkoal and Electivire, and my opponent sends out a Staraptor and Sceptile. Now, on paper, I should have the advantage, with Torkoal being a fire type, and with Staraptor being flying, Electivire being electric, etc, etc. So on paper, I should win this hands down. However, will my opponents have the moves to combat me? Will Staraptor and Sceptile speed be enough to destroy Electivire and Torkoal? Let's find out, if he ever makes his move. But as I said, Revolution covers Diamond and Pearl backwards. So, here we go. So my opponent makes the first move. Sceptile uses Earthquake. Super effective against both types. And doesn't hurt his teammate. Fantastically well played. However, due to Electivire's Susha Berry, it weakens the ground type move's attack. Staraptor uses Return. Here we go. Now, Torkoal does have a lot of physical defense, meaning physical moves like Return don't do as much damage as they would do to other Pokemon. Unfortunately though, its special defense is pants, so Thunderbolt obliterates it. Kaboom! And I'm happy about that. And then Torkoal uses its Heat Wave. A fire type move against a grass type move is very effective, taking it down to well below half health. My opponent now just has to pick a Pokemon to replace Staraptor, and he picks Floatzel, a water type, special effective against my fire type Torkoal, but weak against my electric type of Electivire. However, will it play out like that? I'm keeping both Pokemon in. I would swap out normally, but for some reason I just don't feel like it this time out. So my opponent's just waiting to make his move. I must say though that I was quite disappointed with Revolution, if I'm completely honest. I like the game, don't get me wrong, but after the success of the last two Pokemon... Sceptile uses Leaf Blade against Electivire. I don't know. No, it takes it out. And Floatzel is way faster than Torkoal and uses Waterfall. Peisho Berry may just weaken the attack, but it's still gonna do a lot of damage. There it is. Meaning I've got to replace two Pokemon at once. And my other two Pokemon for this match are Ambipom and Lucario. But, back to what I was saying before. What I was saying before was, I was disappointed with Revolution. I like the game, don't get me wrong. I mean, I do enjoy the Wi-Fi aspect and the whole campaign kind of thing, but coming off the success of Pokemon Stadium 1, 2, Pokemon Coliseum, and Pokemon XD being but the last two games being fully fledged 3D adventures, you would have thought they would have done something like that for the Wii. I'm not talking about Pokemon Park or whatever it was called, because that just blew. It was something that was unnecessary to the Pokemon franchise. Anyway, Sceptile makes the first move with Leaf Blade against Ambipom. Ambipom doesn't take that much damage in retrospect. And Floatzel goes with Brick Break against Lucario. Lucario takes the hit but is still in there. Okay, Ambipom uses Return. And it hits Sceptile. Yep, Sceptile's out of there. The green dinosaur blade grass thing is out now, and Lucario uses Aura Sphere. The trademark move of Lucario is there. I say trademark move because that is the one it is most famous for. Smash Brothers, the movies, the game, Lucario can learn Aura Sphere, as can Togekiss. Anyway, the last two Pokemon from each side going head to head. Floatzel and Typhlosion versus Lucario and Ambipom. Typhlosion has got a lot of speed and a lot of special attack power, meaning that if it uses Eruption or something that can hit every Pokemon at once, this is over. But let's see. But yeah, as I was saying before, coming off the last two games, fully fledged adventures, Revolution just felt like it was lacking something. I like the whole character customization thing, and it should have been something that was brought into Pokemon a long time ago, but it just wasn't. Anyway, Floatzel uses Brick Break, and it hits, and it's all over. Because Lucario will not move quicker than Typhlosion, I'm sure. Nope, it's Eruption, which does its best damage when a Pokemon is at full health. It's super effective against the Steel type Lucario. It's all over. I lose the first bout. Bit of a shame really, but never mind. But yeah, as I was saying, Revolution just felt like it lacked something. I like the character customization, and if it was up to me, that mechanic would have been brought into Pokemon years ago. But let's get on to our next fight. I'm facing a young trainer here, or at least I assume it's a young trainer, as he uses Charizard and Palkia, a legendary Pokemon, which I hate when going online. I hate it when people have to rely on legendaries. It's like they can't use their own efforts to, you know, face other people. I mean, heaven forbid people actually, you know, don't use legendaries and actually get on with training. But I've decided to make my opening gambit against this trainer in his legendary. Palkia, being a water and dragon type Pokemon, will only ever have one weakness: other dragon type moves. Okay, Charizard uses Heat Wave. It hits them both, of course. Lucario only just hangs in there, and I do just mean only just. A good return attack on Palkia does a bit of damage. Palkia uses Ancient Power against Ambipom. Ambipom survives. Thank you, little dude. Thank you very much for surviving. Lucario then uses his Dragon Pulse. It's a critical hit and it's super effective. I think that does ×4 damage or ×2 damage, ×2 that again. ×2 for the super effective, ×2 again for the critical hit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that one. My opponent just needs to find a replacement Pokemon right now. Making up his mind. Oh, and he throws out a Electivire. So what will this Electivire have up its sleeve? Well, I guess we're just about to find out. Ambipom obviously uses Protect to avoid all damage for this turn. Lucario with Aura Sphere. I just have to hope that he wants to take out... Excuse me. I just have to hope he wants to take out Ambipom as opposed to Lucario. Well, we're just about to find out. Ambipom uses Protect and protects itself. Heat Wave. Protected itself, but Lucario goes out. Good thing electric. Well, it doesn't affect Charizard due to his flying aspect. So, I need to find a replacement. Who do I pick? I go Sudowoodo. Wait, I go Sudowoodo? Yeah, sorry about the glitchiness of this. My equipment's kind of been a bit temperamental lately. Anyway, one good sucker punch from Sudowoodo. Charizard uses Heat Wave. It's not very effective against the rock type that is Sudowoodo. But Ambipom is out, unfortunately. Electivire comes in with Cross Chop. Critical hit. Super effective, you know how that goes. Instant knockout. Leaving one Pokemon left. Yep. Just Electivire against Charizard and Electivire. I'm not good with nicknames. That's why I don't nickname any of my Pokemon. It's not because I'm lazy. Still, I'll tell you one of the coolest things it was. At the end of the most recent series of Pokemon, I believe it was Diamond and Pearl, I think it was called, or something like that. Or Sinnoh Champions, something like that. Oh god, Blast Burn, the single most powerful fire type move in the game. Can only be learned by the original starting Pokemon. So you got your Charmander, you got your Cyndaquil, your Torchic. Good heavens, Electivire survived the Blast Burn and just electrocuted Charizard. But the other Electivire comes in with another Ice Punch. No, the first Ice Punch. And there it is. The end of Electivire. So it's pretty cool that he managed to survive Blast Burn. Because let's face it, Blast Burn is one of the strongest moves in the game, rather than anything else. But yeah, the epic thing was, Gary, no not Gary, it was Paul, that's it, Paul and Ash go head to head. Oh, is this the one? Yes, I believe it is. If this is the match I'm thinking of, you're not going to like it much. Indeed, it is. I want to present to you the brand new member of Team Rocket, Nils. You don't think he's that bad, eh? You think I could easily cakewalk this? Have a watch and see. So, I obviously pick very powerful attacks both from Sudowoodo and from Electivire. Now watch this. Mach Punch, right? Look at the health gauge. It barely goes down. What the hell is Electivire doing? Fainting due to that one attack. But you think, surely this must be a glitch? This can't happen again. Staravia uses U-turn. Its first effect kicks in, which is returning to its owner. He sends out Luxio. But what happens to my Sudowoodo? It faints. I'm sorry to say this, but this boy is a cheat. And I never thought you could do that in Pokemon. Especially not over Wi-Fi. I'm honestly very, very surprised. I'm actually, for lack of a better term, disgusted that people have got to go to such lengths to make themselves feel good about playing on a game. I've never cheated. I'll admit that I've used zoning tactics in fighters such as Marvel. I'll admit that I sometimes button mash when I don't know what I'm doing. But there is one thing I have never, ever done, and neither will I ever do. And that is cheat. This boy / girl, depending on who's actually playing, more than likely a boy because boys are more into this than girls. This boy has cheated, and I want it known throughout the internet. Do not play this boy, otherwise you will lose due to him cheating. Look at that. This is such a pitiful display. It really and truly is. The game said it was a total victory for him. I say that he is the loser due to the fact that, you know, he cheated. Anyway, I faced the same dude again, I believe. Floatzel, Bronzong, Lucario, Sceptile, Typhlosion, Staraptor. Yeah, that kind of seems like the same guy. Anyway, the match begins and we're at Lava Coliseum. Oh no, Magma, sorry. What's the difference between lava and magma? Magma. Anyway, here we go. It's Bronzong and Floatzel to begin with. I must admit, the one Pokemon I didn't think I would be seeing would be Bronzong. So I decided to swap out my Torkoal for Electivire. Anytime soon would be good. Sorry, that makes me sound sort of impatient. I'm really sorry about that. I do respect my opponent for trying to make an educated decision. Plus, I actually like the fact that they put in the timer as well. You know, so if you don't make a move, the game chooses one for you, and more than likely it's your weakest or worst move. Anyway, Floatzel comes in with a very, very powerful waterfall attack. Knocks Sudowoodo out straight away. Bronzong uses Stealth Rock. That's basically a entrapment move. Well, no, it's not an entrapment move. It is a trap move. Basically, you'll see here. I send out a Pokemon, and with Stealth Rock in effect, it takes damage upon entering. There are a couple of moves like this. The three I can think of off the top of my head are Toxic Spikes, Spikes, and Stealth Rock. Toxic Spikes, if you do them twice, badly poisons as opposed to just regular poisons, so the damage increases over time. Whereas regular poison is just constant health loss. What else is there? Oh yeah, and then regular Spikes and Stealth Rock damage an opponent's Pokemon upon entering. Well, with Spikes, because it's a ground-based move, if a Pokemon has Levitate or is a flying type, it's not affected by the Spikes. However, if it is a flying type, it will be badly affected by the rock. Basically, you gotta use the type differentials and that kind of thing to make a good decision. Oh dear, seems to have skipped a few frames there. Yeah, that Bronzong used Psychic and it took Lucario out. Not like on a date, but actually knocked it out. Dang temperamental piece of equipment. Anyway, I'm down to my last Pokemon, Torkoal. Now, because Rock-type moves are super effective against Fire-type moves, you could see it did a lot more damage as compared to Lucario. And hello, Typhlosion, yet again. Okay, here we go. Typhlosion uses Eruption. As I said in the last match, this move gains power from the user's HP. So the more the HP, the better. Anyway, here comes Electivire with a cross chop. It does a significant amount of damage, meaning that Eruption next time will be significantly weaker. Typhlosion dodges Heat Wave, but it still manages to do the super effective damage that I wanted it to do against Bronzong. Looks like a giant church bell. Okay, Hypnosis would normally put an opponent's Pokemon to sleep, however, thankfully it misses. It's only got like a 70% hit rate, so 7 times out of 10 it will hit, 3 times out of 10 it won't. That's about it in a nutshell. But then again, using like accuracy reduces or increases, that kind of tends to vary. If you reduce accuracy, your opponent... What the hell? Yeah, I think something used Earthquake and took out Electivire. I can't remember. Ah, that's right. Typhlosion did. and then Bronzong uses Psychic and takes out Torkoal. I'm really sorry about this. My dazzle seems to go funny whenever I try and record this game. No idea why. It works perfectly. I mean, I've not had this problem with any other game. But yeah. Excuse me. I've been quite tired lately. Anyway, but yeah, that's actually me. I've lost. So yeah, not a good day for Pokemon, but meh.
Excellent, excellent. Straight from Pokemon back to fighters, we finished today on Super Street Fighter 4.
Our first match today on Super Street Fighter 4, not the arcade edition, the regular edition, is Dudley versus Chun-Li. Of course, I'm the one playing as Dudley, and my opponent is playing as Chun-Li. What on earth I'm doing here, I can't remember. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, I was checking a couple of things while I was waiting for my opponent. Onto the stage select. I think I got to select it this time, didn't I? Yes, I did. And I selected it to be the crowded downtown China stage, aka Chun-Li's home stage. Yeah, I kinda didn't feel confident. So, yeah, this guy is 10 times better than me. Or more so. So, here we go. Waiting. Here we go. Dudley's introduction. Well then, let's begin. Chun-Li in her dark, evil costume. Nothing going on at the moment. I'm jump over the fireball. Guard, a couple of few attacks are exchanged. Just jumping to keep out of the way. Oh, I get the first attack in. In fact, I got a 2-hit combination. Couple of good attacks again. Oh, the EX has armor breaker, so that's focus attack doesn't quite do it. Tried to go for an EX uppercut, didn't quite do it. She catches me with a throw. Although I managed to catch her with corkscrew cross. Bam! And into the wall. Yeah, I should have waited a bit, but I saw my chance. Another EX spinning bird kick, another throw. This is not looking good for me. I try and throw her, but she manages to break out. A keep it classy EX machine gun blow. Oh, she tries and goes for her counter, and she tries and goes for her ultra combination, but then I counter with my ultra combination, and thankfully mine went out, and it's a knockout. You saw that, Dudley just punched his way through it. That's a man's way of dealing with his problems. Anyway, on to round 2. I catch her on the first attack. That attack actually does do a little bit of damage, doesn't it? She catches me with EX Thunder Thigh, Thunder Kick, or whatever it's called. Dodging fireballs. She's just getting me with all those kicks. Another throw. She's just this character is now just outclassing me. I managed to trip her over, but oh, I managed to get a EX Jet Upper. No, just EX Upper. It's called a Jet Upper when it's EX. Roundhouse kick to the face. Coming from Chun-Li, that would probably kill you. Anyway, final round. We've each got 1 victory. I'm quite determined to win this one. Try and go for a machine gun blow. An EX machine gun blow, aka the keep it classy, but she manages to get the first attack in and a throw. EX Thunder Thigh. Again the Thunder Kick. EX Thunder Kick again, and it's all over because of those birdies. Focus attack into the thing. What? Dudley's still in there with, I was going to say 0.5% of health, and now it's all over. So yeah, my first match in Super Street Fighter doesn't really go well, but to be quite honest, I don't care. I managed to get a good bit of footage from that. Maybe I'll eat some sweets just to recharge. You and me both, lovey. Okay, my next match is me playing Rufus, an unusual character, and my opponent is playing Blanca on the cruise ship. Here we go, first fight. He managed to catch me on the first attack. Managed to catch me with a counter. Ooh, I managed to get him with my focus attack there. I don't use Rufus very often, if I'm completely honest, and it does probably show in my playstyle. But I think I do okay here. I managed to get him with a few of the punches. I managed to get him with a focus attack. Trying to get him with a EX. I can't remember the name of the move. EX Whirlwind is what I'll call that. I'm just not getting my breaks here at all. It's pretty close though. Ah, he catches me with Blanca's electric shield. Basically, he just coats himself in electrical armor and he can't be touched. So yeah, he got me with that one. Cheap trick. But oh well, that's just part of Blanca's fight style. Got me with a cannonball. I go with a Space Opera Symphony and it didn't connect, not once. So yeah, a bit of a wasted ultra on that one. Tries and gets me with a cannonball again. Although I managed to get him with a few punches, so at least he doesn't score perfect, which is kind of what I aim for when going up against these stronger opponents. Don't get perfect. And to be quite honest, as much as I lose, as long as my opponent doesn't get a perfect over me, I'm fine. But I must admit, Blanca is one of my worst matchups. Anyway, on to the next match. I'm using Rufus. My opponent is using M. Bison, aka the Dictator. If you look at his power level, it's 14,523. You know what that means? Vegeta, it's over 9,000! Indeed. Indeed it is. It is indeed over 9,000. Bison there sporting some gold armor like Arthur from MVC3. And Rufus in green. Not that you could probably tell. Ah, he teleported out of the way of my heavy fist. Well, at least he's not getting a perfect. As I say, it's what I aim for. And I managed to catch him in the air too, that's quite unusual. But Bison kicks him in the nads and he's out of the first round. On to round 2. He throws me. Throws me again. Whoa, this is going a bit quick. I'm just trying anything I can get my hands on at this particular point in time. I go in with the Space Opera Symphony and it makes full contact. Kaboom! Well, at least I can say I took some guy who was over 9,000 to over 9,000! Go away, Vegeta! So yeah, at least I can say I took some. At least I took a Bison of that caliber down to below half health. That for me is an achievement. Not enough to warrant a dance, but it's an achievement. Anyway, my next match is in the excited streak scene in South Asia. Me playing Dudley, my opponent playing Guile, if you couldn't already tell from the music. Yes, oh, look at that. It's 12,000. This one's 12,907. Nothing, really? There's not going to be over 9,000! God damn it, man! Stop yelling in my ear! So yeah, this Guile is very, very good, let's just say. But I managed to catch him with my focus attack. And a few other jabs as well. But he gets me with EX Flash Kick, Sonic Boom, Jet Upper, Flash Kick. Oh, I managed to throw him. And he gets me with Flash Explosion. I wish I could do moves like that. Sonic Boom into Fist, and it's all over. Dudley loses round 1. Not surprising. On to round 2. We both get the first attack on each other, although mine does a little bit more. He gets me on the counter. I'm trying to uppercut and all manner of bits and pieces, but I managed to get him with my focus attack, bring him up into the air. I try and cross counter him, but unfortunately I don't get that chance. Flash kick. Although I'm doing quite well, because nuts. If I would have caught him with that ultra combination, I would have been well in the money. I try and go for EX, for the jet upper. Unfortunately it doesn't quite work. Sonic boom. I could never use Guile, no matter how many times I tried to. Anyway, he gets me with Flash Explosion. Oh, no, he doesn't. He misses me with that one. But he gets me with his super combination. I keep it classy out of there. I machine gun blow him, go for a corkscrew cross, and he gets me with a kick. Nice play in there, dude. Although I must admit that being able to take somebody down, to take a Guile down to that kind of health is an achievement for me. So all in all, I'm not doing too well. I'm not doing well in terms of win and loss ratio, but I'm not doing too badly in terms of my own personal achievements, which is always something. Anyway, Zangief versus Blanka. Now again, this is not in my favour. Catch him off the double lariat. Again, as I say, why Mike Hagar's hurts him, I don't know. I would love to see Zangief versus Mike Hagar outside of Death Battle. But anyway, I'm actually doing quite well against this Blanka. Actually, hell yeah, I am. I catch him on the double lariat again. This is where Blanka starts to shine. The pressure. I counter his lightning cannonball with my double lariat. Well, I defend against it and use double lariat. I try and go for an ultimate atomic buster, EX cannonball, slide, and there's just absolutely nothing I can do. I hate facing Blanka. Regular cannonball, knockout. As I say, Blanka is one of my worst matchups, that and Bison. But that's because of my, well, I wouldn't say inexperience, because I have been playing with the Street Fighter characters for a long time, but no, it's just due to the simple fact that they're just not good matchups for me, no matter how many times I try. Anyway, double lariat, trying again for the double lariat. I catch Blanka again, EX cannonball, sliding attacks, gets in. I try and grab him for a pile driver, a miss. There goes cannonball into the focus attack, but it misses. He grabs me, again, and throws me again. Zangief only just hangs. No, the sliding attack finishes it off. Dang it. So yet again I lose, this time with my favourite character. Well, on to our next fight. I think it's our final fight, this one. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. There's still one or two more after this one. Anyway, I pick Zangief, my opponent picks Akuma. Now, normally when I play this matchup, I'm pretty good. However, we will see. Because this guy is vastly better than me, and he's a fellow Brit. Yes, he's a fellow Brit guy. Fellow Brit. Yes. Anyway, round one. I managed to get the first attack in and counter with double lariat, which is awesome. Catch him with the focus. Kick him. Yes, that's it. When Russian wrestling doesn't get the job done, just kick him. Anyway, banish him flat, another banish him flat, continuing with the banish him flat, and into double lariat for quite the win to begin with. So Zangief, aka me, takes the first match. Double lariat to begin with. Punch, kick, trying to go for the lariat again. Just avoiding the fireballs, as it were. Shuriken. EX banishing flat, of course, has got armor breaking properties. Double lariat. Try and go for 2 EX pile drivers but the second one was a complete accident. Into Demon Armageddon from Akuma. I tried to counter it with the double lariat, but it just didn't work. Zangief is pwned. Boom. Into the third and final round. That's it, you drunken bum. Go back to your cardboard box. Wow, that sounded really quite bad for me. Anyway, so it comes down to a final round. I catch Akuma. He throws me to the ground. Sped up the footage a little. Double lariat. Shuriken. Shuriken again. I try and go for ultimate atomic blast. It doesn't work. He just throws more fireballs at me. I get him with the double lariat. Shuriken one more time. I try to go with a super atomic buster. He tries his super combination. It doesn't work. He goes for his ultra. It does work. And you can all see where this is going. Demon Armageddon finishes Zangief. Zangief, however you pronounce it. All in all, it's all over. The guy playing Akuma has won. If I'd only managed to just avoid that attack and do the double lariat, I would have won. Oh well, never mind. It was due to my silly errors. Anyway, our next fight is Akuma versus Dudley. While we're just waiting for the opponent. Yeah, I got into Street Fighter like most people into Street Fighter 2. And then I'll be getting hopefully the arcade edition at some point in the future. The 2012 edition, I should say. I'm not going to bother getting the regular arcade edition now. And also Ultimate Marvel vs Capcom 3. That I can't wait for. I hope that Frank West is a good character. Either way, I'll be playing him. So anyway, yeah. On paper, I should have this marginally due to me having like more PP and BP than this guy playing Akuma. However, we shall see. I will teach you the meaning of pain. Pain basically means when your nerve endings are shot and you're being hurt. Anyway, I managed to jump over his fireball and pound him and get him in the air with a little bit of something. He gets me with an EX tornado kick, sweep, I punch, I jet upper, focus attack him as he goes into the air. I manage to focus attack him again. I screw up on the jet upper, try and get him. Tornado kick again. Corkscrew cross and I catch him with it. Corkscrew cross, the end, and kaboom! Straight against the non-existent wall of the building site. So, round one goes to me, but we've all seen this before. So, let's see how it goes from here. Machine gun blow was blocked, low attack, jet upper, which is awesome. He shurikened, but I hyper armored, he missed. He's now just using rushdown tactics. I tried corkscrew cross, completely wrong side, and Akuma finishes off that match. So, on to the final round. Akuma is just dominating from the beginning until I catch him on the keep it classy EX machine gun blow. Fireball kicks. I really do hate this equipment sometimes. I managed to catch him with my ultra combination 2, aka the corkscrew cross, and it does it. I don't believe it. I finally managed to win a match on Super Street 4. I'm just sorry that my equipment pantsed out and we didn't get to see half the friggin' match. I'll fix that problem for next time, but ultimately, yeah, awesome. Awesome, yeah.
Actually, folks, I'm not that mad. And I'm not just saying that to actually try and regain my cool after that. I'm genuinely not mad. Today's been really good. A mixture of wins and losses, fantastic technical gameplay, Except for that one miserable cheat. Ooh. If I ever, and I'm telling you now, you ever see that guy playing Pokemon, troll him like no tomorrow. And I hope you do. It's normally against the Gentleman Gamer's code to troll people, but in some cases it's acceptable. That being one of them. I mean, zoning is fine to an extent as long as you like mix up your projectiles and the fierceness of them. So like, let's say Dr. Doom for example. The Gentleman Gamer's code says that zoning equals spamming equals in fact, let's put it down the bottom. Spamming spamming equals cheating. In one case, it could be Dr. Doom's plasma beam. You know, plasma beam. If you keep spamming the light one, or Deadpool's guns, you just keep spamming the light one, or the heavy one, or the medium one, or whatever one does more damage, and it keeps you completely out of the picture. That is considered cheating. That's not good. That is against the gamer's code. Or Gentleman Gamer's code, I should say. Now, if you can mix it up a little, so you like throw out a couple of plasma beams, one light, one heavy, get in there for some like close combat stuff, and then go into like the photon array, and then back into a light plasma beam followed by another mix-up. That is called that's actually mixing it up and actually being a good gamer. Spamming a button or cheating is definitely against the Gentleman Gamer's code, and that's when it permits you to troll and be miserable and just aggressive. But I wouldn't say aggressive. Aggressive is too strong a word. No, the Gentleman Gamer code says you can like troll them. It uses a technical term of some sort, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But they say the troll is a perfectly acceptable slang term these days. So yeah, you ever see that guy on Pokemon? Or you ever see anybody doing complete zoning, or as I like to call it, zero zoning, meaning you got absolutely no chance whatsoever, then yeah, you'll be allowed to troll them. Go ahead and troll them, my friends. Stay salty. Well, not stay salty because you've actually got a justification to do it, but no. If you meet anybody like that, troll them like no tomorrow. But I've gone off on enough of a tangent. I'm the Gentleman Gamer. And my friends, in the words of Dudley from Street Fighter,
Keep it classy.
dang it, all the heck. Good episode. I just wish I could... What the hell? I wonder who the hell that could be. Hello? Damn kids! Hang on, what the hell is that? This, to the Gentleman Gamer. From a fan. Ooh, isn't that nice? Let's see here. Dear Gentleman Gamer, love your show. Thought I'd contribute something. Please enjoy the Metalotron. What else did I say? Bloody handwriting, can't read a damn thing. Please enjoy the Metalotron. I hope you enjoy it. It's practically a servant robot. Give it an order, it'll do whatever you want. Oh, cool! Ah, you're coming with me, little dude. Ah, the Metalotron, huh? Let's have a look, see what it looks like then. Well, it's got to be big. That's a funny design. Must be original. Nobody could create anything this silly. This is a servant robot? Yeah, I'll bet. Okay, let's have a look, see. Metalotron, make me a sandwich. Come on. It's turned on. Come on. Fine. Sing me a song, Metalotron. Play games. Make fun of me. Do something! Oh, you know what? I've got to go. So I'll tell you what, useless robot who doesn't do anything. I'll put you on the mantelpiece. Figurines. Should put those down. There we go. Excellent. Right then. Okay, little useless robot whom I completely adore. I've got to go. So I'll see you later. Bye!